introduce the players that we've got now whilst I set it up?
Certainly I would. Down in the bottom right, spawning as our red Terran for Team Knight, we have WildSeven. And in the top left corner of Antigua Shipyard, GSL Edition, we have spawning as the blue Terran from QED.Attzy.
Fantastic. So what did you think of that last game? Kind of break it down for us as a higher level player. What happened and why did it happen?
Well, as a high level Zerg player, maybe, but yeah, I mean, my knowledge of Terran is somewhat limited, but I mean, obviously we saw, as Attzy does ask if we can use the same map again, which we can indeed.
Yep.
There are repeats allowed according to the FSCT rules in the official thread. So yeah, as I was saying, last game we did see Attzy in this TVT again on the same map. We saw him go for that 1 Rax FE, really safe, solid opening, you know, to secure the fast economy that early CC gives you. And we actually saw Fate going for a Reactor Hellion expand, which was very interesting to see. I mean, I don't keep up with the Terran versus Terran metagame very much, but it was interesting to see him swap over the tech lab on the racks for the, or rather the other way around, the tech lab on the factory for the reactor on the racks to open up with Reactor Hellions, and then go back into the Marine tank after he's taken his expo. But you know, Attzy just played really well with his drop play, as well as you know, just sticking to his guns with his favourite bio style of play, and it really paid off for him in leaps and bounds, as he was just able to really catch Fate out of position when, you know, his tanks were either unsieged or sieged up in the wrong places, and he played it really solid and really standard and really well. So, you know, both of those players would you know, showed us a really great show, and I'm sure both of these players will too.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent breakdown. Something that we kind of noticed, unfortunately for Fate in that last game, it was kind of he kind of flew blind in the sense that he tried to get a scout off a couple of times, but he was never actually able to enter the main until he did what can probably be described as a doom drop, when he dropped a tank and a couple of Marines in later in the map. That was the first time he actually got inside the base of Attzy to see what kind of tech path he'd chosen, and he was just pretty much reacting to kind of the army that he saw up until that point. But there was some nice, the intention with that Hellion run by was quite nice. He actually got, I think, 3 SCVs at the end of the day. But yeah, no, unfortunately he wasn't able to totally capitalise on that push, and yeah, Attzy just built upon that lead.
Yeah, and I think that's actually what Fate was looking to use the Reactor Hellion expand for, just getting that scouting. That's one of the biggest reasons we used to see it in the metagame in TVZ. I know the Terrans would like the Hellion opening because those Hellions were really fast and could get inside the main or inside the natural, along with getting the drone kills. It was more about getting the scout off and seeing, you know, what tech has he's got, and where's his gas, how much gas has he got, and what's he spending it in. So I'm assuming that's what Fate intended to do, but, you know, Attzy held off the Hellions really safely for that push. But for the moment, in this game, we actually have a bit of a mirror build up to this point for both of them, both going for a 1 Rax FE. But there is a bit of a deviation now with WildSeven putting down his 3rd Rax before, or all 3 of his racks before the 2 gas, whereas Attzy did take gas a bit earlier, but his 3rd racks will be a bit later. Probably going to see exactly, or something similar, if not exactly the same as we saw last game with that Stim Combat Shield and Medevac timing push that we saw from Attzy last game, which he's been executing really solidly and on point this game. Lately, I should say. But we will probably be seeing a bit of a delayed medevacs from WildSeven, as he is going to be putting down all of his add-ons on the racks before even getting a factory. So he will also be playing a bit more bio-heavy with this tech lab and 2 reactors, but we'll have to see whether he goes for a factory for tanks or whether he just uses it to get out to medevacs.
Yeah, nah. And something that I've noticed is Attzy is quite a fan of bunkers. in the sense that if he, because I don't think he's scanned or anything, so he does know that there's an expansion, and he did set those 3 racks up and completed, although he might have spent a scan to see that actually. But he's not one to kind of chance it, from what I've seen tonight at least. When those Hellions got through and round the back of his natural expansion, he didn't want to kind of risk that again, and so he put down an additional bunker. So he seems to be kind of safe until he knows what is what, and then how he needs to respond to that.
Yeah, and it was a really good decision to do that last game as well, because of the unusualness of, of the Reactor Hellion expand. It could have very easily turned into a Marauder Hellion 2 base timing. So it was very wise for him once he saw the Hellions to put down that extra bunker, but he won't be looking to put that down this time, as he doesn't really need to for the moment, and he will be getting aggressive a bit with these 4 Marines to check the watchtower, check for a very greedy third if it's there, and basically just check up on what WildSeven is doing for the moment.
Yeah. Now, do you who would you, if you had to place a bet at the moment? Man, these are really mirrored builds. Just it looks like WildSeven's slightly behind in relation to the building of his new tech. But who would you hazard to kind of put down that third base, or at least the third CC, to get more builds out? Who, if you had to kind of like look at how they've set up and how they're playing so far in this game alone, who would you say would be the person to kind of take the plunge and do that?
Yeah, well, I think what Attzy should be doing is to be pushing now with these 2 medevacs. As you can see, the first couple of medevacs will not quite pop on time with his stim and +1, but the stim and +1 will pop at exactly the same time, and he will look to make a strong timing out of that. However, that said, WildSeven's kind of inverted his build. It's a very similar build to what Attzy's doing, except for it's inverted in kind of the marine tech that he's going down. He's opted to go for stim before combat shield, and his combat shield will be lining up with his +1.
Yeah.
So both of these players really going very bio heavy for the moment, but actually WildSeven may be looking to transition into tanks after this. So we see the factory at the front of the base putting on a tech lab, and he is going to be chucking down his 3rd command center, even though he does see this scary push coming down the middle for Attzy with 2 medevacs, combat shield, and +1 and stim.
Yeah, this is lined up actually really nicely for Attzy in relation to how the beat of his build, I guess you'd call it, works. And he's going to probably be able to pick up.
And actually he's going to hit a
medevacs.
really nice timing.
No.
Yeah. WildSeven actually doesn't have combat shield yet, so this is a perfect time to engage for Attzy. Actually could end up just killing everything outright here. These combat shield marines are going to do so much more damage, or take so much more damage rather, and yeah, there we go. The entire force of WildSeven is shred before his very eyes. SCV's coming to the line, aren't going to do anything. Has to wait for the next production cycle of fire to come out, but Attzy can do just picking off add-ons, supply depots, everything that you could care to mention from all of these barracks, and only now does combat shield finish, but I think this is almost too late.
Yeah, and running those SCVs in without the assistance of those marines is going to be quite unfortunate for him in this situation anyway.
Yeah, and with no medevacs left, there's the GG.
Yeah. It's a nice play there by Attzy. Brings the series up to a pretty quick 2-2, so we're even again in this clan war, and we'll just have to see who the next player to come out from Team Night will be. So GG, good play from both players. And we'll be back after a moment, guys. I've just got to go quickly get a drink of water, so I'll just put some music on, and we'll be back after this.